Welcome to another Going Beyond the Scale episode. Over the weekend, I had the opportunity to interview two of my friends from Biggest Loser, two of the alumni. Olivia, who won our season 11 of Biggest Loser, and her sister, who was the runner-up, Hannah Curley. And today, I'm sharing a new format in what I'm doing overall with after I interview people. So here's the basic drift. When I interview somebody, like I did with Hannah on Saturday, and then Olivia on Sunday, how this is going to work is every time I interview somebody, I'm looking for how much can I get from them that we can share with you that will support you. And I also know from years of experience living in the world of branding, marketing, communications, that we all take information in differently. Some people like long form, some people like short form, some people like little bits and pieces of things, some people are auditory, some people are visual. So what I decided to do is, if I'm going to interview someone, I want to be able to take that information and be able to share it in ways that people can absorb it for them in that moment, and then hopefully over a period of time. So how it works is we go live with Facebook and on Instagram. That's how we're doing it right now. Then what happens is, when that's done, it gets converted into a podcast, and it gets converted into a YouTube video. And then what happens is, like what I have today, there's a transcription of the interview. I'm able to go through the transcription, highlight the key things that seem to come out of there, which I can share what I'm going to do in a minute from the 3 top things that I got from Hannah on Saturday, that hopefully will help you at this point in time today on this short broadcast. And then also I will post that as a blog posting so that you'll see the whole transcription. You'll see some pictures in there, maybe from the person I'm interviewing. Maybe there's some links in there. Maybe there's some highlighted quotes. Once again, gives you an opportunity to be able to digest the information however you would like. And then the other thing that's going to come out of that is that I would probably take little bits and pieces of those things, and there might be little short snippets of something that they said, or something I can post as a meme, or like anything. It's going to be, the reason why I'm doing this is I'm trying to find a way, if I'm going to ask somebody for the generosity of their time to share with you what they have to share that I think will help you on your health and well-being, or in launching your business, or writing a book, or whatever we're going to have a discussion about. I want to make sure that you're able to get what you need. And if there's something that really touch, moved, and inspired you, you can share with other people in a format that maybe works for them. So that's what this is all about. This version today is the version that happens after I interview somebody. It's what I'm calling kind of like the cliff notes. It's the highlights of after I read the transcript, and this is a 22-page transcript. What are the key things that I've gotten, like 2 to 3 things that I think really are important to remind people about? And then when I go back and actually update and do the transcription of blog posts, I make sure that I highlight those as well. So this is the very first time that we're doing this format. Hannah and Olivia were great because they shared it over the weekend, but this is the first time we're going through from A to Z how this is going to work. So out of the pretty much hour-long conversation that I had with Hannah, which was, as always, it was a lot of fun, and it's already on my Facebook page if you want to see the whole entire interview. There were 3 things that Hannah really brought up that I just want to kind of share and highlight. The first one was, she was talking about fear. The second one she was talking about was body composition. And the third one she was talking about was movement. So if you read the transcription or you watch her whole interview, you can get more of the details. But I'm going to kind of encapsulate what that was. When Hannah was talking about fear, I think that was a great thing that she brought up, because it seems to be something that's very common with many people that I navigate, people that I work with all the time. The quote that I love to use is that what's most secret is most common. And what the truth of the matter is most of the people that any of us that are coaching or navigating people on their health and well-being journeys, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear of failure. Why? Because there's a lot of evidence that you're going to fail. I mean, I'm 62 years young. I have had more than my share of failures. So if I come to anything new in my life that I want to do, no matter what it is, if I go with a fear mindset and I come down and I kind of list all the things that I think that are going to really stop me, I'm going to have plenty of evidence for that. And Hannah shared that, where that was one of the biggest things that she had. She really didn't know a lot about Biggest Loser. Both she and Olivia didn't know that much about it. So they didn't have any real understanding of what was going to happen. But she had a tremendous amount of fear because she had a really bad athletic injury. She used to be an athlete, but she had a back injury that really made it difficult for her to do any kind of real athletic movement anymore. She had a real fear of her being able to actually lose weight. She wasn't sure that she was going to be able to. So she started on the show, and for quite a while, she was in a constant state of fear and concern. And that is very, very common for most people. So if you go back and you listen to the whole interview, she shares that. It comes in and out of the conversation many times. And she also shares how she transformed that. And if you met her today, you would never think that she has any real fear. She still does. Everybody has fear. But she's been able to make that fear, instead of being in the front of her thinking, it's really in the back of her thinking. And she has enough evidence and confidence now that even when fearful thoughts come up, she moves beyond that. So that was a big takeaway from her interview. The second thing that she talked about, which, there it is, there's my body composition machine. We were talking about body composition. Most people don't really know a lot of the details about Biggest Loser, but we had a lot to do with body composition from Dr. Huizenga. He had a DEXA machine, which was basically like a flatbed, and we laid on it, and it scanned our entire body and told us about our lean muscle mass, our body fat, our hydration, our bones, all of that. And it gave him a view of where we were when we started. It gave him a view mid-range of where we were. And then at the end of the show, he did the same thing. And so when you watch Biggest Loser and you see people losing weight on the scale, what that's really not showing you is actually how much fat is lost, how much muscle is lost. They were pretty good about making sure that we stayed hydrated so there wasn't people sweating out or whatever. But the challenge with the scale is the fact that it is the thing that we worry about the most. And it's probably, unless you have a really good quality body composition scale, you're not going to really know, and you're going to live and die. We lived and die by the scale each week because we were afraid we were going to go home. But for you, one of the things that really you want to consider is getting a really good quality body composition scale. That's one thing. And also understanding that if you constantly spend time worrying about what you weigh, it's not going to work well. You've got to really find a plan that works for you, find support that works for you. Work as best you can and being as consistent as you can. If you can be at like 80 to 20% of being successful and staying on track, you'll be fine. But body composition is really one of the areas that we spend a lot of time talking about. I'm very much somebody that's an advocate for it. I've done about 5,000 in-body body composition consults. So I've really become a real student of that practice, and I'm going to continue to do that. But the first thing I would tell people is if you can find for yourself a really good body composition scale, or have access to InBody or something along that line, it's going to help you. But if you can't, I just want you to really understand that the scale is a tool, but unfortunately it slays a lot of people versus serving a lot of people. So body composition is critical. I'll be talking more and more about that as we go along. The last thing that Hannah had mentioned, and it's really the most important, if you did nothing else, if you never lost another pound, if you never did anything, you know, and you probably heard that smoking or sitting is the new smoking. Movement, no matter what size we are, is one of the most critical things, life-changing things, no matter how young we are, how old we are, whatever challenge that we have. It's so critical to be moving. It's great to exercise, but it's critical that we move. One of the things when I was interviewing Hannah on Saturday, I held up the book, Joy of Movement. This book is a must-have, a must-read. It is probably one of the best studies of why movement is critical. I love this book. Hannah knew the book. She's read the book as well. And all of us that have been on a wellness journey really know that movement is really the game changer for everything in your life, no matter what it is. So if you never ran, you never jogged, and maybe you don't want to walk, maybe you hate to walk, get on a bike. You've got to move. It does two things. One is just keeps your body in a constant state of regeneration and really restoration overall. It's just good for you completely. Every ounce of your body is good for you. And like I said, even if you don't want to walk, get on a bike and move. If there's one thing that will transform your well-being, is some level of movement besides sitting on a couch constantly. You guys have probably heard me talk about, I have a website called Couch Kills, and it's just true that if I had to say before Biggest Loser, one of the biggest things that I had done was I kind of gave up on what I was doing, and I just sat, or then I would ask the kids, like, can you give me this? Can you give me that? And they're just trying to be helpful. But what I realized was that, it wasn't going to help me in the long run. So anyway, thank you. This is meant to be a short, abbreviated version, kind of the cliff notes of what Hannah had shared. There was a whole world of things that she shared. I'm sure you probably know Hannah, but if you don't, please go and watch the entire video. You'll get a lot from it. Share it with other people. Follow Hannah. We have all kinds of information that she shared there as well, as far as you can follow her. You can find out some of the things that she's doing right now. So thank you as always for your generosity, for listening to this, to sharing this with everybody else. And I will be back tomorrow with my highlighted versions of the interview that I had with Olivia, who won season 11 on Biggest Loser. I interviewed her on Sunday. I need to go back and read all the transcripts of the notes that I have from my interview with Olivia, and I will share with you those particular highlights. So thank you for following this. Thank you for sharing this, and I look forward to any questions you ask. And if there's any people that you would like me to interview, please let me know. There's going to be a whole wide portfolio of different kinds of people, different kinds of backgrounds that I'm going to be interviewing on this platform. And then, as I mentioned, kind of dissecting the information in a way that you can absorb it that best serves you. So thanks again. Have a great day.